give it to him.
He don't live there no more.
Yeah, so it's your house.
There's my house. I must defend it.
I remember how to do this.
Are Kevin's parents bad parents, do you think? They left him home alone, and then they lose him in New York. Like he just ends up in New York
Question is
somehow.
that?
Are they bad parents?
Yes, absolutely
man,
they are.
they're they're bad parents, you'd say.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, because
it's hard.
well, first of all, okay, look, we'll start with the first. Okay,
All right.
you're gonna make me
Okay.
upset here.
Look, you're the
Oh, I
expert. That's
remember.
why I asked you. Okay. So
I'm the expert, yeah.
you really think they're bad parents? Tell me. Tell me. It's hard.
Flip.
So in the first movie, right?
All right.
They um I think they you know they decide they're gonna go to France,
Right.
right?
They're going to
And
France.
I
Les
understand that
incompetents.
you're what the French call les incompetents.
Incompetents. Oh,
She thought she was so funny.
she did. She thought she was hilarious.
Like, what kind of family? I don't know. Like, the poor guy, he's asking everybody for help, and they're like, F off. They're like,
Yeah.
eat your guts.
It's true.
Um,
Look what
no,
you
but,
did, you little jerk.
yeah, Nick, all right, you've known Lucas and Riker for 12 years now, all right? And never once have you seriously, like gone up to them and been like, "Look what you did, you little jerk!" Like, it's insane. It really is.
Yeah,
The
I
kid,
mean,
he's he's 8 years old. All right, and totally for his. So I will give them.
okay.
All right, I will give you miscounting at the house. Okay,
Well,
with the
they have like the
with the weird
cousin
kid.
count or whoever she is. She counts.
Yeah, see, and that's it's all supposed to be a perfect storm,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like I get it. Let the cousin counted.
They have like
fine.
the entire family. There's like 40 people or something ridiculous. Not that many, maybe, but there's a lot of
There's
people.
not. What did I just get an achievement for?
There's not. How many
Push
people?
piston, probably.
How many
I
people are
did.
there? How many people? What do you think?
Yeah,
So
you guys were in the end when I did that. So.
There's Kevin and his brother.
there's Kevin and Buzz.
All right. Let me
And then I
get my
believe
notebook
the
out here. Let me
redhead-
all right. Kevin,
I-
Buzz.
Kevin and Buzz.
Uh-huh.
I believe the redhead and one of the other girls is also his siblings.
Okay.
All right.
So that's 5.
And so
5.
and then cousin Frank or Uncle Frank and his wife have the kid who pisses the bed.
Okay. So Uncle Frank, his wife, the pisser. Okay, that's another 3. Kevin's
they
Kevin's
have-
parents.
Kevin's parents.
So there's 10.
I mean, there's a couple more kids in there.
Well, let's
It's
this is
not.
like your favorite movie. Tell me the kids.
It's not a wild amount of children.
All right, there's 10 of them, and then
Okay, hold on.
all
I
right,
believe in the second movie they count 17 people.
okay,
I believe. Don't
all
quote
right.
me
So we'll
on that.
round up to 20 people
Well,
that they got to
yeah,
keep
sure, that's
track
fine.
of.
That's fine.
Plus, people's friends are like just showing up for no reason, playing around.
Well, the
Oh, my
the
parents were
pizza
going to
guy.
wherever. Because didn't like someone's friend in the first one
Oh,
show up, and then they counted him
that's the
because they
that's
screwed
the
it up.
neighbor kid who was
Yeah,
going through all their luggage.
right. Yeah,
And for the van driver, he's like, "Hey kid, beat it." And like the kid's just like going through everybody's luggage.
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just I just don't see how as parents like you never talk to the youngest. Again, the 8-year-old, you don't talk to him at all like throughout the whole van ride and
Well, they just
at the
figure
airport.
like they probably did they all ride in the same van?
No, there's two vans.
So they think, oh, he's in the other van.
Yeah, but how long are we gonna keep thinking? Okay, well, but either way, like now we're on the plane, and they're like, oh, does it make me a bad mom if we're sitting up in first class and all the kids are in coach? It's like, yes, it does. Like, what? You're gonna take a a a 15-hour flight to France, and you get to sit up in first class while Uncle Frank is stealing the silverware? Like,
All right. So,
yeah,
okay, so they are bad parents.
I I don't know. I like to believe they are.
I mean, they forgot him twice.
Once once might be a big fluke. All right. Well, see the second time was a more on Delta or whoever they flew with. That's
Mhm.
their fault
Okay.
because Lost in New York, he's he's chasing. It might be bad. It might be bad parenting again. I was gonna say it wasn't their fault so much in the second one, but for some reason, they didn't learn from the first time, and they all had plug-in alarm clocks again, and nobody wakes up.
No one's on
You
time
know,
getting up again
Mhm.
or
nobody's
whatever.
on time getting up, so they're all rushing around.
Uh-huh.
But they do a tip of the hat to the first one. They're like, oh, do we have everybody? Where's Kevin? And then Kevin turns
Right.
around. He's like, no, I'm up here in the front seat of the car. And
Uh,
they're like, oh,
yeah.
okay, good. So then they get to the airport, and I'm not even sure. So they're late, right? But they somehow get all of their luggage onto the plane, all their checked bags. I mean, I guess this is pre 9/11, but
Yeah,
still,
it's all
they
pre 9/11, so they don't like security was nothing basically.
yeah,
So,
but but Kevin stops for 2 seconds to put batteries in his talk boy, and he so then he looks up, and miraculously, right at the same time, a guy who has kind of the same build as his dad, same hair color, and he's wearing the exact same coat, starts
Mhm.
running through the airport just like they were running. So then he follows them, and then he bumps into the ticket agent, makes her throw all the tickets into the
right,
air.
all
All
the
the
tickets
tickets are
go up.
all over the
Oh.
ground. And she's like, "Hey, do you have a ticket?" He goes, "Yeah, that was my dad who just walked on the plane." And so she walks him all the way down and onto the plane. She goes, "Which one's your dad?" And he goes, "Oh, that guy right there." And she goes, "Ah, good enough for me." She goes, "Yeah, just find a seat."
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Doesn't pick him up. And
Doesn't
says,
say,
"Hey,
"Hey,
I found your
your
son."
son's
This guy's
here."
like, Beat it, kid.
We can't take 30 seconds out of like pushing the plane back to find out if this is right.
If this kid's
And
supposed
again,
to be on this plane. Yeah.
You know, and of course, again, perfect storm. We are where do they live? Chicago? I don't even know.
Maybe Chicago. They live. So the third movie, the kid's in Chicago. I know that, but that doesn't really
Okay,
help
well,
us. That's a different kid.
let's just pretend because they're not in New York and they're not in
Right.
Florida, because that's where they were going, was Florida.
They were.
Yes,
In the
because then
second
they
one?
get
Okay.
to Florida and it's raining the whole time and everybody's miserable. Oh, it's Christmas in Florida and it's raining. How dare it? But
Dang it, Florida.
you know, again, perfect storm, right?
Right.
So we see Kevin on the plane to New York next to the only guy. For some reason, this one guy flying out of Chicago to New York only speaks French. He doesn't speak a lick of English.
Somehow.
And
Yeah.
because Kevin's like, oh, I've never been. And also Kevin never sees any of his other siblings on the flight either.
Right.
And that's not a clue for him.
Well, hey, he's a kid. We're trying to determine, are they bad parents? We're not criticizing young
again,
Kevin,
Again,
let's stay on subject here. Are they bad parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think so.
Final answer, all things considered, yeah.
Yeah, because again, also because the parents make it to their gate, and the mom wants to like count everybody, and somebody, maybe the dad is like, oh, they'll take care of it. Oh, they'll take care of it. It's like,
oh,
again,
like the airline's gonna take care of it.
I don't know. I don't remember. But like,
okay,
again, like you can't take 30 seconds out of your life,
to make sure you don't leave Kevin behind again.
Yes. Not even make sure you left Kevin behind. Make sure everybody's okay. Make sure that everybody has everything.
Right.
Like,
make sure nobody has to go
because
to the bathroom. Let's check everything.
We just sprinted faster than Usain Bolt through the airport, to make it on this flight.
Right.
But
yeah,
we're okay. We're fine.
All right. So the verdict is yes. They're bad. They are just plain bad parents.
And then when they're at Florida airport, and they're like, oh, here's Kevin's bag. Give this to Kevin. And then everybody passes it down the line. Give this to Kevin. Give this to Kevin. Give this to Kevin. Oh, Kevin's not here. Kevin's not here. Kevin's not here. Like, nobody else is concerned at that point. Like,
you're right. It's not just the parents. It's the whole family.
Everybody is just a terrible person in that family.
Right. They're all...
hold on. If we're talking about terrible people, yes, okay. Oh my gosh, this supports the terrible parents claim.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So we open up the second movie at the kids' recital or their school Christmas concert, right?
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, all the grades are performing together. That's another topic for another time.
That's a little different. Yeah. But anyway,
so, Kevin is performing a solo.
Yes.
And
okay.
He's singing "Christmas Tree, My Christmas Tree," and his brother Buzz is just standing behind him, and he takes someone else's candle and starts playing percussion on his head. Not only is that like ridiculous, like who in their right mind would ever do that, like as a kid, and think that they could get away with that? And the parents clearly saw that. And if the parents didn't see that, never mind. You're streaming. I can't use those words.
What?
But even if the parents didn't see that,
Shame
they should have
on
seen
them.
it
I don't know.
because the whole entire auditorium erupts into laughter like it's the most
Right, they don't know what's
hilarious
going
thing
on.
they've ever seen in their life. They're like, look, oh my gosh, look at this guy. He's playing drums on that kid's head. Because apparently everybody in this town is like, this is Kevin McCallister. And so then, he pushes him over, and then everybody gets knocked down except Kevin. And the mom stands up and screams,
Kevin!
like, yes, thank you for that. And then, then they're back home, and Buzz is like, I'm sorry for what I did. It was immature, and then he walks by Kevin, like it's dead silent in the room, and he goes, beat that, fish sniffer, or something like that. And like nobody heard him say that. And then the mom's like, well, Kevin, do you have anything to say? It's like, what?
Nothing to say.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Maybe you should go up to your room and contemplate whether you want a family for Christmas again. And then, yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
I
then,
forgot about
Kevin-
that. It's the first movie. It's just, all I want for Christmas is my family back, or something. What does he say?
Well,
Something
'cause,
like that.
right? Again, we forget that he's 8 years old.
Right.
So he wishes Christmas
He
Eve
wishes
or whenever
for his
that
family.
his family to disappear, and they
Oh
they
yeah,
disappear,
yeah. I forgot about that
right?
plot
And
point
then-
at the very beginning. Yeah, he wishes that they would all disappear, and then he's like,
And they
"I
do.
made my family disappear."
It's good.
So he like blames himself for a little while.
himself the whole
movie, I guess.
He has no idea.
He doesn't
what's
know.
Going on.
Man, that's rough.
Fun conspiracy theory. Some
Oh.
people say that John Candy is the devil in that movie.
Oh,
Oh,
but he helps
The,
them.
Well, so the conspiracy goes that when she's talking to the ticket agent, she goes, I would sell my soul to get back to Chicago right now, and that's
And then he
when
shows up.
he walks up. That's when he walks up and he's like, hey, I could help you,
Oh,
and
with the polka bums.
it's the polka.
Polka. Kiss me polka with the twists. Polka,
And that
polka.
he does help her get home,
Yeah,
but he does it in like the most menacing way possible by
right.
like in the back of this moving truck with
With a bunch of
playing
polka
polka
bums.
music. And,
They're all terrible fathers or whatever, or terrible parents. And
Yes, uh-huh.
he tells her she's not a terrible parent. So,
which is untrue.
which is untrue, as we've determined.
And she, so like he does get her home,
Uh-huh.
but it's only like minutes before the rest of their family flew back on the plane, like, and got there at the exact same time.
Right, yeah, like it was basically pointless. Because they took the flight that was 3 days out or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that they could be together for Christmas. Well, good talk. I'm glad that we figured that out.
Cleared that up.
Cleared that up. Don't forget
Justin,
to
in-
like and
In
subscribe.
Germany,
You know.
they actually changed the end, and the wet bandits end up biting his fingers off because he is the villain.
What? Oh, I forgot about the fingers thing. I'm gonna bite off his finger.
Yeah, what? Why? What the heck was Joe Pesci's character
Dude.
at that point? Like, he's just gone off the rails. He's just like, I'm gonna bite your fingers off one at a time. Like, where did that come from?
Hey man,
Like,
pure rage that
Like-
this kid has put them through.
well, it made more sense when they were both like, how about we take a shovel and smash him in the face? It's like, no, I'm gonna take a blowtorch and burn his head. Like, those make sense because that's what
Gonna
happened.
bite
to
his
them.
fingers off.
Just out of nowhere. He's like, I'm gonna bite his fingers off, and then he starts unzipping his pants, and you're like, what? the world?
Whoa, whoa! That's not how you bite fingers.